Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Shelbyville Now Sports Live. And we've got a crew with us today. I've got Mr. Bill Anderson and Mr. Kenny Parker, and a special guest today, Miss Tammy Garrett, our Superintendent of Schools. And we're glad to have you with us. I hope you can tolerate this bunch, and you're taking a risk by even sitting down with us.
That's
you
right.
Know what might happen. We got a special,
right.
Bill, we've got a special sponsor today.
We do. It's a Shelbyville Lumber Company, Mike Matusik, True Value Hardware. And you guys, back in the day, when you needed something at the house, you went to Frank Nichols and Handy Dandy. And I don't care what it was. It could have been the weirdest little part.
Yeah, Frank would reach
and
down.
Frank would reach down here, he'd go in the back and get it. Well, it's kind of like that at Shelbyville Lumber. They've got all sorts of stuff. It's not just hardware, plumbing, lock and key. If you need keys, if you need...
if you're grilling, they got grills and Yeti coolers, and well, I don't think I use Yeti. I think I use Orca. But you
got the big green egg.
The big green egg, whatever you need, it's there.
And if it's not, they'll get it for you.
And guess what else? I got some lumber.
They do have some
lumber. They have lumber.
They do have
I know
some
they've got longtime customers that have been there, and they have weathered the storm of all the big box stores coming in and competing, and that says something.
And local. And local.
Yeah. And local. And I found that a lot of times, compared to the chain stores, they're actually cheaper.
Yeah,
they are.
They really are on a whole bunch of stuff I've gone and got on. Shelbyville Lumber's cheaper.
If you're working on a project too, there's people around there that knows what's happening.
Yes, and you can ask questions and they'll give you answers or they'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank them for being our sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach Tony Matusik was my high school coach, and I coached Mike and his brother Chris.
You did, didn't you?
So yeah.
Ian's at Central right now. Mike's son playing.
Right.
I like Shelbyville Lumber.
Me too. Yeah. I'm a big fan.
Great local business support. Get out and support them. We thank you guys for sponsoring us today. All right, let's talk about high school football. We've got playoffs going on, and we've got some state championships.
So next week in Chattanooga.
And
remember, it's an hour behind. It's their time differences. So if you're planning on going to the game, there's an hour difference. So you got to move your clocks.
All right, let's talk about Oakland to start with. Wasn't much of a game, was it?
Running clock against Maryville.
I know.
Running clock in the third quarter, and they got a punt blocked. But Oakland's pretty good. Yeah. They've had some kids move in too. You don't get that. But pretty good. Good friend of mine that's a coach there, Kevin Creasy. He's done a great job. He's won a couple of state championships at Trousdale County, and then went on to Oakland, and there he's from Lewis County, so he's a small town guy.
Dr. Garrett, let's talk about state championship, what it would mean to a school system and to a community.
Well, sports is big in communities. It brings people together, and it's our dream. I think in the next couple of years, Shelbyville Central is going to have a chance at it. We've got some young players coming up, 9th grade, 8th grade. It would mean the world to us. If we've been to the state, Union community went to the state, it just brings a lot to a community. Parades, people get excited.
Yeah, and you can see momentum start to build when you start getting there. Central 2 or 3 years ago had that push and almost made it, and you saw momentum building to that point, and the community just started rallying around the team and around the school, and everybody in the county did. So it's important. And Kenny, as a coach, how important it is to have that type of support from administration. Dr. Garrett seems excited about the prospects.
Well, it all starts at the top and it works its way down. Sports is good in the community, but it's also good in the school.
Oh, yeah.
It helps the morale in the school. It helps the way people get along with each other. And but support from anywhere, whenever your boss has got your back and is willing to, I remember when I started at Cascade, my first year, Coach Weeper said, "You can't buy this, you can't do this, we got the money." And then after it's over with, he goes, "Well, yeah, you do." And he was, that's one thing that I've never not had everywhere I was at. When I was at Central, there was Mike Bone. When I went to Cascade, there was Terry Looper, and then Sharon Edwards, and then Mr. Harwell. And you know that they've got your back and you can coach and you can do, and they've got your support and will help you in any way you can. And not only with the principal, but with your athletic directors also.
Right.
You know, they don't get a hold. People don't know the job that they do, but oh man, it's a
Well, you can look back over history. Back when I was in high school in the late '70s, Whit Taylor was coach at Central, and I remember every Monday morning when we came in, Mr. Bone would get on the intercom. He would talk about the football game beforehand. You know, we got another big win. We're ranked number 4 in the state, and everybody for that whole week was fired up about the next game. And it was just a good atmosphere to have. And then through the 80s and 90s, when Central had the girls basketball championships, the national championships, I mean, that was huge for this whole community. And you look at recent years out of community with the success that they've had in girls basketball and other sports.
And boys basketball.
boys
Remember
basketball,
Coach Robbie Davis made a nice run, and he's going to be on the show with us the next week or two. I talked to him this week.
Yeah,
He's
you're
coming on
running
with
at
us.
Cascade. And recent years, the winning. I mean, it's just a whole different atmosphere when your teams are having success.
But at Cascade in particular, and Dr. Garrett, you might elaborate on this as well. Even if they're not winning, it's wonderful to go out there on a Friday night and watch the parents cooking and the involvement that you're getting out there. I mean, you can get fried fish. The food out there is wonderful, and it's all parental involvement. Whether they're winning or losing, it's an event. And that's what I hope it would be at Community Cascade and across the county, because it gets the parents and it gets the community involved with the school and the kids.
Absolutely. Cascade, they have a following. And I mean, basketball, football, Chris Lawson, top notch. That is like a family. He just loves those kids. And that's the thing with sports. It can change the lives of kids. I'm a product of it. Softball, basketball, it changed my life. Gave me a different direction. I had coaches that were role models. Where can you go next in life? And that's why I'm here today with what I'm doing. And sports played a big part. And that's why I support sports today.
And you and I have talked about this before, but the viewers out there may not know it. But you were quite aware of Rick Insel and the girls' basketball. You played basketball as well in high school, didn't you?
I was the same age as Tiffany Woosley. So
You were part of those battles and wars.
yeah. And so we didn't want to come in this gym.
yeah, because I was teaching at Central when Tiffany was a senior. So do you played against Tiffany?
Well, we didn't never play. I think we may have played in Shelbyville gym one time in a tournament, but I don't know that we played them. We knew our place.
You
we were
played-
single A.
Was you at?
Spring Hill.
Okay. at
I was
Spring Hill.
born and raised in Franklin area, and then we moved when I was 12, and I went to high school at Spring Hill.
Did you go to those Spring Hill High School or the new
Old Spring Hill High School. You
Oh,
had to
man.
dribble in certain places.
Oh
'cause it was
yeah,
all-
little old bitty cracker box. I played against those guys there.
And look at that school now and how big it is.
It's amazing.
I mean, I remember it too, because I used to sell school supplies. That was a little old bitty school.
Hey,
And now look at it.
the gym wasn't much bigger
No.
than War Trace's gym.
It wasn't.
Oh, it was a little old bitty gym.
Now look at Spring Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good size.
And now Spring Hill will be in our district of football for Centrals next
Yeah,
year, right?
yeah.
I believe that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going down to 5, that's the only team that's not of the old CT.
OCT.
They just like kind of have plugged in there. That shows their growth from
Yeah.
a single A school 30 years ago to
Right.
now. Or
Back in the
20
day, we
years
used to
ago.
play at Community, Cascade Community. Always
Yeah.
had a Christmas tournament, played in that gym many times.
all right, let's change gears and talk again about some more football scores. We had of local interest, Giles County got put out last night.
Alcoa 38-13.
Yeah.
Alcoa's tough. They always are tough.
Yeah.
When I look at the winners and the ones that are going to be playing in the state championship next week, Middle Tennessee football is for real.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Clay County. We don't think Clay County's in Middle Tennessee. They're playing McKenzie. McKenzie's the team that beat Fayetteville last
Right.
week. You got Tyner and Decatur Riverside. Riverside is where Johnny Frost is coaching now. Johnny coached for me at Cascade. Went on, was the head coach at Community. Left Community, went to Riverside. It's where his wife's people are from. And I had an opportunity to talk to him and congratulate him last night after the game. They're excited. They lost 2 games in the regular season, and they had the opportunity to beat both Lewis County and Huntington. So they avenged their 2 losses in the regular season. Then you get to the Alcoa.
Yeah.
And they're playing East Nashville, another Middle Tennessee team. Anderson County, Pearl Cone, another Middle Tennessee team. West Knoxville and Page, another Middle Tennessee team.
And I'd like to say something about Page. The Central scrimmage Page before the season, and that scrimmage wasn't a runaway. It was a close game. I don't know what that means, but it just lets you know that the right things line up, get the right chemistry, and you can have a championship team.
That was a big win. Henry County's no joke. Henry County's always got athletes, running backs.
They played each other last year. Remember, that was a shootout game. It was at Henry County this year. Last year it was at Page. Then you got Oakland and Beach in the 6A, both Middle Tennessee teams. You go into the private school, you Friendship Christian, which is in Webb's district, and Nashville Christian, both Middle Tennessee teams. CPA and Lipscomb, both Middle Tennessee teams. MBA and Baylor. Middle Tennessee has a chance to win a state championship
In all classes.
in all classes.
That's interesting to see.
That Pearl Cone game last night with Haywood County, buddy of mine over there said it was a great game. 53-47. It was at Haywood County, big win for Pearl Cone. And Beach beat Bartlett 50-39. How does Beach just keep going?
Sumner County.
He
Sumner
he lost
County.
his running back, they were saying on the radio at the first of the year, then lost the next running back. The third string guy's the guy running for 250 yards a game. Is the third string running back.
Yeah,
I
Amazing.
remember.
they just keep coming.
You may know this name, but you may not know this name, Bill. I don't know if you know this guy, but I coached at Shelbyville for a guy by the name of Jay Thaxton.
Well,
Jay was from Beach. Jay came in
Yeah.
from Beach, and they run
Boy,
the wing tee.
That's
what was,
where he
what was that
picked it up.
old coach's name? It was Jay got it from. It was up
He was
there.
an architect.
Cummings.
Yeah.
No,
Not
don't
Cummings.
put me on the spot. I know who it is.
I think
But
so.
he was an orchestrator of the wing tee, pretty much. In the southeast,
Herschel
he
Moore.
was the,
Herschel Moore.
Yeah,
That's
Herschel
it.
Moore.
Herschel Moore.
And Jay brought that, and everywhere he went, he had success with it. Everywhere.
And they threw the ball out the wing team when people
Oh, yeah.
realized.
So you can
There
talk
was
a little
nice
bit.
packages, tight end
that
packages.
bootleg stuff, and it worked good at Central.
Yes, it did.
Tell you another coach that runs a wing tee,
Who's that?
Kevin Creasy at Oakland.
Does he really? Okay. There's a lot to be said for that. All right, guys, let's take a break real quick here, and let's talk about Shelbyville Lumber again. They've got another division, Bill.
They do.
That's
I mean,
impressive.
the other day, I needed some 380 ammo. I had an issue with the coyote at the house, and all I had on me in the car was a 380. So I shoot the coyote with a 380. Well, I'm out of ammo. So I can have Shelbyville Lumber. And I thought, well, they're not going to have none of that.
Did you just have one bullet?
No, I had to shoot it 3 times as a coyote out of the car.
Oh.
And I had to pop him 3 times. But he's
Well,
up there near my
stop
house.
the car before you shoot.
Well, it's a little 380. It was all I had on me, right?
Okay.
Well, the ammo that I like is Hornady Critical Defense. And believe it or not, they had it at the gun store at Shelbyville Lumber.
All right. The name of that store is SLC Firearms.
And I got to looking around in there, and they've got everything. I mean, from guns to, again, anything you want, holsters. That's nice to have that in Shelbyville and not have to go somewhere else.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's right here. And I don't think a lot of people realize it's even here.
I tell you, I do, because every one of my carry permit guns, ammo that's in them, came from Shelbyville Lumber Company.
Well, I tell you,
Civil defense.
they've got a
I love
good
that critical
selection.
defense.
They've got a good selection of firearms, too.
Right.
And if they don't have it, they can get it fast.
They get it for you.
That's
That's
right.
the other
That's
thing.
right.
Anything you want, they'll get it.
So, guys, SLC Firearms, a division of Shelbyville Lumber, we want to thank them again for sponsoring this morning. And now let's change gears again and talk about high school basketball. Basketball season is kicked off, and I know Cascade, the boys are now 3-0. Girls are 2-1. So they're having some early success getting started. That's good to see. I know Central's played a couple of games. They've been on the wrong side of it so far. Hopefully they'll get some momentum. And then we've got community. The girls are doing well. So what do y'all think about our high school teams this year?
I just went to look. I think we'll be okay. District wise, Cascade and Community are both in the same district.
Right, yeah.
With Chapel Hill, Forest, and Grundy County. Shelbyville's in a 4-team district also. It's Shelbyville, Coffee County, Franklin County, and Warren County.
Dr. Garrett, do you get out and go to some of these games?
Absolutely. I love to watch basketball. One of my favorites. So Cascade, they're going to be good. The girls too. I'm glad that they've started out strong. They've got a young team, and so they're going to be good. That coach, I'm really impressed with what she's got. She's got a great role model in Chris Lawson. They work well together. We're looking forward to that.
What does it take for a team like Central to get the momentum that they had years ago? How do you build that? I know you've played basketball. You've been a part of programs before. How do you get that momentum back that seems to be lost at Central?
One of the things I'm hoping is going to help them. We're going to come out of that with football too, and come out of that stronger, district up there next year. But it'll take a couple of years. It's a strong coach. He's very talented. Has a lot of backing and support.
Yeah.
And his wife is over at MTSU, so they've got the Ensels that support them. And it's going to take a while, but we've got strong programs. Like we've got a great soccer program over there. And so it's just going to take us some time to build up in Shelbyville. Now, Cascade, they'll, and Community next year, I don't know if you saw, but they'll go into a different district.
Right. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to some great years.
So we're on the upswing.
And these district changes, I think, too, are important because Central, for example, having to go to Cookville and these other places, they're not gate games. These new districts, if we could get back to playing Tullahoma, Franklin County, Lincoln County, that's gate draws for us, for everybody.
Every one of those are a rival.
They're all rivals.
If you play Franklin County, we used to play Coffee County, Tullahoma, Columbia. Every one of those, Lincoln County, they were all rivals.
We want our parents to be able and our fans to be able to go travel too. You don't want to be going to Kenwood or if you don't have to.
I remember you talked about old rivals and stuff. Sitting in the bleachers at Lincoln County in district basketball tournament, and Franklin County's reporter had the cowboy hat, and one of our kids ran down there and stole his hat off of it. And I mean, it was just rivalry and all.
Yeah.
Coach Bone had to put on a different kind of face. Yeah. But I mean, it was just good, clean.
Yeah.
Love to hate.
In Lawrence County, what about that rival?
Oh yeah, love to hate, and hopefully it'll get back. Coach Turnham is a great guy. Kyle is a super guy, and he'll do a good job at Central. I'm not sure who the boys coach is now. Is it
Cody Howard?
Okay. See, this is his first year.
Second year.
Second year. Okay.
Second year. I think in years to come, we started elementary basketball league, and I think you're going to see on through the years that's going to.
And there's a lot of excitement out there,
really
Dr. G, about this elementary basketball league. I hear it in church. I hear it in the community, and a lot of excitement with. I think you're the one that spearheaded that. Well, or you're getting a lot of the credit for it. And
well, I have to give Coach Turnham and Coach Lawson, I went to them. I said, hey, I got this idea. And so they coordinated it. This year, we had $25,000 anonymous donator that bought uniforms for the whole league.
Wow. That gets the game going fast right there. A shot in the arm.
You got a Saturday, you want to see something, packed gyms.
Yeah.
Packed gyms, and they do a good job of rotating them. But grandmas, granddads, people in the community, they're there.
That was one of the things I noticed when I came in. Not all elementary schools had a gym.
Yeah.
So we have to rotate. I was kind of amazed at that. We would love to have a new gym in this new elementary school because you have AAUs that could use the gym. It's a community center.
Yeah,
it really is
right.
when you're looking at schools.
Well, let's pause and take another break, and we're going to hear from Duke Cannon. Can you tell us about the Duke Cannon product? I know you like it a lot after this week.
Well, the big Thanksgiving tradition around our place is hog killing. When we killed 5 hogs yesterday, and did it from all the way to grinding the sausage at the end, and I was a wore out puppy. And I get home, I've got hog grease and all this all over me, and I go to get a shower, and there's this bar of soap, this Duke's Gun Smoke
Duke Cannon. Yeah.
that you gave us last week. Bill and I both got a bar, and I said, I'm going to see what this gun will do. Let me tell you. I'm not saying it because it's just commercial.
Yeah.
That stuff's for real.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I came out of there with my gun. I got new energy. And I will say this. Don't drop it on your foot.
I know. It's
a bar of soap. You got somebody that's bothering you,
Yeah.
fling it at them because it's like a
What
brick.
kind of bar of soap is it there, Kenny?
That's
It's a big one. It's a
this
big
is
one.
campfire, but mine's gun smoke. It's a big bass brick of soap.
Okay, Kenny. Let's pause now. We'll hear another word from Duke Cannon.
I said,
A guy who runs hot, it's hard to find relief. Duke Cannon Dry Ice gives you an icy cooling effect that lasts all day without having to do anything crazy. Duke Cannon Dry Ice Cooling Antiperspirant. Crank the cold.
Duke Cannon products are available at the Winter Circle in Shelbyville at 603 Evans Street.
Okay, guys, welcome back. We're going to change gears now and get into some SEC football. Last week, I almost said South Carolina's going to beat Volunteer.
and
But
we would have laughed
I
at
know,
you.
and that's the reason I didn't say it. So I'm not going to say anything this week about the games coming up. I'm just going to let y'all do the predictions, and I'm just going to sit and take notes. We've already had a couple of games. We had the Egg Bowl, where that was a somewhat of an upset, wouldn't you think?
I thought Kiffin was gone. Just his demeanor on the sidelines, he didn't look like himself. But I don't think Auburn wants him.
He's not.
He met with his team and said he wasn't going anywhere. You would think that would rejuvenate the team a little bit.
Yes.
Do you think people don't believe him? Do you think that they're saying no?
From
He's
his
really
background.
Going? I know. That's what I'm saying.
Be like your boy Nick Saban that day with the Miami Dolphins saying, I'm not going in. You remember that? He had a press conference, and the next day he was in Alabama.
We changed his mind real quick.
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. There's a difference between coaching collegiately and coaching professionally. Coaching professionally, you're having to motivate people that are making more than you are to play. There's just a total difference.
It looks like Matt Rule is going to be hired by Nebraska. Okay, but look at the job he didn't do great in the pros, but he's a good college coach.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it Temple that he turned around at first, and then he went to Baylor and had a lot of success?
Look at how many good college coaches didn't make it in
Steve
the NFL.
Spurrier.
There you go. It's not. It's different. It's the same. They play with the same kind of ball, but it's a different sport.
Definitely.
Those are grown men
That are paid.
that are paid, and you got to treat it differently.
Notice she's wearing orange,
She is wearing
I'm
orange.
a Tennessee fan.
and our studio audience has got Vols logos on. So let's just jump right into that game to start. We're going to start there.
I'm surprised
Tennessee
it's a
fans
night
do.
game, aren't y'all? I would have thought this would have been an earlier game and not a night game because they're talking about rain tonight, wind,
Well, they're also talking about checkerboarding, Vanderbilt Stadium.
sellout.
Okay, so ESPN
Checkerboard in what color? Black and
No,
gold. or-
orange and white.
Orange and
It's
white.
going to be 3-1 Tennessee fans.
I
over
remember.
Vanderbilt.
That's always the case.
I know, but they're going to checkerboard. They're trying to absolutely checkerboard
the whole
in orange
stadium.
and white.
Wow.
Now, if you do that,
You better win.
you better win. So I want
You
to ask
better
you,
win.
what's your prediction on that game, Kenny?
I think it's going to be a good ball game.
Now, what does
I
that
think It's
mean?
going to be a real. Well, here's the thing. Weather neutralizes everything. Weather neutralizes everything. Tennessee's got a great team. They don't have a great quarterback. He's hurt.
Yeah.
And this guy that's going to quarterback for him
Joe Milton.
can fling it from one end of the field to the other, but all he knows is it's out of his hand. And he don't know where it's going. He don't know if he's going to knock them down. He's going to hit them hard.
But you know, he's played a lot better this year. And if you'll notice, I think
Yeah,
Coach Hype,
because he hadn't played much,
But I
because
think-
he's a backup.
I think Coach Hype will trust him too, because when they make the uniform changes, you know, and they're going to wear their smoky gray, it's always Joe Milton in the picture. It's not Hendon Hooker. It's been Milton. He's your quarterback next year. It's going to be Joe Milton. And
Okay.
it starts tonight. But here's the difference. Tennessee has better athletes who can run the football.
Well,
tonight.
I'll say this, and I've said it all along. Tennessee has no reason not to win this ball game.
None.
But the big thing is chemistry in the locker room. And I think chemistry in the locker room is what cost them the South Carolina
I
game.
agree.
And you don't just correct that in 5 days. That's gonna take some time. You don't just correct that in 5 days.
Give me the better athletes. Tennessee covers.
What is it, 14 and a
14.
half?
Tennessee
14.
covers.
But that's not
Okay,
very
Dr.
many.
Garrett,
at
your
all.
give me a score. What's it going to be?
You know what my score is always. Not enough, too much.
But let's hear it.
Tennessee will win, I say, by 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say
Okay,
3.
okay.
Balls by 3 touchdowns.
Balls by 3. Bill?
35-14.
Well, that's about 3 touchdowns, isn't it? All right, I'm going to concur. I think Vanderbilt will fight tough the first half because they're playing for a bowl.
Thought you were gonna pick Vanderbilt. Come on.
Now here's the
You just
deal.
gotta pick me.
Hey, you're an SEC fan,
Right.
like I am. SEC's got 14 teams.
Yep.
If the right scenarios happen, 13 of the 14 teams will be bowl eligible. Only one that won't be bowl eligible is Texas A&M. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Texas A&M beats LSU.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I say A&M will beat LSU, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But if we have 2 upsets, Dr. Garrett and I are sitting right here side by side. If Vanderbilt upsets Tennessee and Auburn upsets Alabama, both Vanderbilt and Auburn are 5 and 6.
They'll be 6 and 6.
They would be 6 and 6. SEC would have 13 bowl eligible teams.
You willing to take one for the team?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to take one? No.
No.
All right. So they can stay at the house.
There'll be 11.
Now, wait a minute. My wife's an Auburn grad.
Oh,
And
you're
but
willing
I
to
asked
take
you
one?
that question earlier.
She's a big fan of Cadillac Williams. She likes him.
Okay.
But no.
I asked you that earlier.
No. Alabama's going to roll.
But I really do think that A&M will beat.
I don't see it.
And here's the reason. Remember early in the year when we were talking about Central football, and they were playing a lot of young kids, and I told you that I played a lot of young kids, and I had a coach that was really, I thought a whole lot of very successful, and he told me the thing about playing young kids. You're going to lose a lot of close ball games. A&M has, but they're going to be juniors and seniors. This group has grown up. They're beginning to play a little bit. Something about Fisher. I hope they lose,
I know I do too.
but it's just something about it says A&M will beat LSU. My preacher, he won't like that.
No.
He's LSU.
Wow.
You know that
The big difference for LSU's the quarterback's
They'll
gotten
be
better.
crying.
he is.
The
he's-
quarterback has gotten
he's-
better. Where you look at Florida last night,
And
I'm
I-
sitting here going, he's kind of gone down.
And that the
But the LSU
quarterback,
guys come up.
I didn't realize until the other day that he was from Arizona State. The LSU's quarterback, he was good at Arizona State.
And they got that one receiver. What's his name? Booty.
Mhm.
He's an NFL guy.
Yeah,
He's an
a
NFL
real
receiver.
Okay, so we got that prediction you're making is LSU is going to get upset,
Mhm.
and that is
I
he
believe,
on
it's
the hot
at
seat?
I believe it's at A&M. Is Jimbo Fisher on the hot seat?
No.
85 million says no.
Okay.
Texas A&M's got the money. Yes,
85 million says
they got
no.
the money
They
down
have
there.
the money.
I know they got the money, but you fire me for half of that.
I know.
Okay. Mississippi State LSU. What do you say?
LSU.
LSU.
Whoa, that's Texas A&M.
I mean Texas A&M. What I say? I'm
Mississippi
sitting here
State
reading
already
Mississippi
won.
State. We're talking.
Yeah.
We already talked about
Yeah.
that one, didn't we? Okay, it's old age. So you're saying LSU.
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 I'm gonna go with Kenny on this one. We have a split decision here.
Something
Yeah.
about Fisher and the way they play and do things.
I heard another big ball game today that will take us back. Told Coach Bill Lewis, Louisville, Kentucky. Remember how excited he got about his Wildcats?
Oh yeah, he loves it.
That's a rivalry right there, Louisville and Kentucky. That's a big ball game.
Well, it is at Lexington.
Yes.
So I'm going to say Big Blue wins that one.
Coach Stoops just got a nice extension and well deserved.
He'll win.
I think he will too.
Okay.
Kentucky.
Okay. All right. We have South Carolina at Clemson. At Clemson. Okay. Now, Clemson is getting no respect with this record they have. They're 10-1. They come in this, they go in.
The only loss is to Notre Dame, correct?
I think we're going to see Clemson flex their muscles a little bit. They're going to finish, 11-1. Where's the argument? They just kind of faded away. Why aren't they sitting at 5 in this poll?
And it's not going to happen.
Here's the reason. Because this team has not met the expectation of all the other Clemson teams in the past. They're being judged on the Clemson teams before them. Had those teams not been good, then it's like Alabama. You're tired of saying Alabama. People are tired of saying Clemson. They're wanting new people, and that's what's happening there. I think Clemson stomps them pretty good.
I do too. All right, so that's your prediction.
Clemson.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen. That South Carolina quarterback plays halfway like he did against
He
Tennessee.
wasted it last week. He's done. We handed that to
better
him.
players.
Hey,
better
and
athletes.
also, our defense made him feel real good. He's fixing to get one.
You got to give. I think you got to give the coach of South Carolina a lot of credit. He outcoached Heupel in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
A lot of ways.
Yeah. Well,
he didn't let number 11 run around wide open like everyone in the SEC has to catch balls either. There was somebody on him every play, and then he didn't let Hooker just throw to wide open people. I thought they did a good job there. And then I thought defensively offensively they attacked what we don't do well. And that was secondary corners, and it was just a well-called game.
Clemson's strength is their defense.
Absolutely. And that'll be the difference in the ball game.
Yeah. You think it's going to be a blowout?
Yes.
Clemson. Okay, so Clemson finishes up 11-1.
But I'm going to tell you, that's a rivalry, guys.
It is.
Oh, it is.
That is and rivalries.
Who knows?
They always
records are out the window.
That's
I know,
exactly
but just Dabo has got to be feeling a little bit of disrespect right now. So I think he's going to have his team fired up. Okay, then we've got Auburn, Alabama, Kenny.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's at Alabama.
Still going to be a tough one. Auburn is playing well.
They're riding that Cadillac.
Cadillac is got them excited. They're playing well. I think Alabama will win, but I think it's going to be a battle. And, it may not be. It may not. If Alabama, definitely got more talent. Quarterback gets on the groove, but you just look at the last few games. They're tight. They're close.
Yeah.
It's I don't think it'll be a blowaway at all. I think it'll be a ball game worth watching.
10 points.
If that many.
Okay. Dr. Garrett, what do you say?
Oh, I hate to say it, but I believe Alabama will pull it out.
Yeah. You hate to say it. Listen to this.
I know.
All right.
I know.
Boys, there's some orange blood right there. Okay.
Alabama by 21.
You think
Alabama
so?
I really
21.
do. I just don't think Auburn's got the horses.
Well,
and you got the disarray of who's the next coach.
Yeah, well,
Who do we think the next coach is? I think it's Hugh Freeze. I think it's a done deal.
People down there just don't like him. And I'm tell you, we talked about this killing hogs yesterday. Who wants to go to Auburn? Is a good place, but they're never happy. They're never happy.
No, you're right.
They had a coach that won a national championship. Get rid of him. You get his replacement. He beat Alabama 3 times. Get rid of him. They're never happy. They're not satisfied.
You're right.
Seriously.
You're right.
Hugh Freeze would do a really good job there. That would be the best hire they can make.
I shouldn't say this on there, but I say sort of like going to Moore County. If you're not from that area,
right?
You're. But then Cadillacs from down there. You know what some of them are saying? Get rid of him. Some of them are saying keep him. You're always
biggest problem
have
Auburn's
that.
had is they let the boosters run the school.
That's
the
the thing.
problem. You can't have that.
Whenever this game comes up, I always think of something that Bear Bryant said years ago. He said beating Notre Dame's pretty fun, but he said ain't nothing like beating the cow farm.
But I think Auburn has showed you they really don't
No,
care
the cow college, I think.
what slide at the SEC thinks
Yeah.
about. They don't care because they hired Bruce Pearl. And Bruce Pearl's done really well down there in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Same type show cause type situation that Hugh Freeze had. So that's why I see Hugh Freeze going down there.
And I'm trying to, I got some good friends that are Auburn, really like Auburn, like I do Alabama. And the word is that I've gotten is Auburn is about to hire a coach that's under the hot seat. And have done that in the past. And I'm trying to think, who's in the hot seat? Who's a coach that's in the hot seat that might be going? I don't think it's the guy from Nebraska. But dude's sharp. He's smart. He wouldn't be successful in Nebraska, even though that's where he's from and where he's played.
Frost.
Mm-hmm. Frost. He's got a good offensive mind. I don't know, but that's the word I've heard. They're about to hire a coach that's in the hot seat.
Well, if you're in the hot seat there, you're in the frying pan at Auburn. Walking in the door, aren't you going to be sizzling?
You're 50-50.
Oh, you're done before you ever start.
Half of them going to like you, and half of them going to hate you.
All right, we have a comment.
All right.
Brian Cruz. Can we get a Kenny Parker Duke Cannon shower commercial for next week?
Oh, that'd be great.
I don't think so.
No, hey, I'm not dropping that bar again. Let me tell you right
And
now.
I ain't filming it, so we're out. We're out with that. No,
But I will
Brian's
tell
answer
you,
is no.
it's good stuff, Brian.
Speaking of Kenny, wouldn't just sitting here today, we need a commitment out of him. Wouldn't it be good if he'd come out of retirement and help some of these young coaches
It sure
develop
would.
a team?
I gotta drive a bus. I can't practice.
You know where you'd be really helpful? One of the best offensive line coaches in the history of this county, just helping out somewhere, coaching a little low line.
I love it.
We'd love to have you.
I'd love it.
Mentoring a young coach.
Uh-huh.
Take
Boy,
on
that would be
things.
awesome.
It'd be fun.
A seed was planted. Okay.
You don't have to water it much.
All right, there you go. One last pick. Georgia Tech. How bad is that going to be?
Don't even turn it on.
Okay.
I do Michigan, Ohio State, though. You talk about a big ball game. Let's talk about that one.
Oh, that's not the SEC.
I know it's not, but you're talking
Hey,
major
let
deal.
me tell you how I feel about that game. I hope they both lose.
I do too. But if I had to pick one, I'm just hoping Michigan can beat Ohio. I just do not like Ohio State.
I've got
never
a lot
have,
of
never
friends that are Ohio State fans, but
Plus they're hard.
what I don't get about that's a big game. That's a big game. Big rivals. A lot of tradition at both schools. But here's my listening to all these people talk about sports and how this team shouldn't be there because they lost to this, and this one. And they're saying, if Michigan beats Ohio State has a better chance of recovering and making it in the playoffs because they beat Notre Dame. One team. If Ohio State beats Michigan, they don't stand a chance because they played nobody. And here we knocking each other off down south, and they just don't look at it. It's like I said in the NFL. Why you got divisions? The division record don't matter. It's the overall record. So you can get somebody that's played. We'll look at Clemson. Clemson can't make it because the ACC is not very good right now, and they happen to lose to Notre Dame.
Kenny, I bet there's 5 teams in the SEC that could go up there and beat either one of those
I've
teams.
always said if you put Ohio State and Michigan, one of them in the East and one of them in the West, neither one of them would play for the SEC
No, they
championship.
wouldn't. They wouldn't. They wouldn't do it. It's
If you
different.
put one in the East and one in the West, neither one of them would survive because they're not used to having to play every week.
I do think the difference in this ball game is going to be Michigan cannot throw the football.
But they
I
can
think
run
that'll
it.
be- They can
But
run it.
they can run
But
it.
Ohio State can stuff it too. Because I just
I
think
that
think
offensive
Ohio
line.
State will win.
I just think they have better players. Again, go back to the players, and I think they can throw the football
And
better.
and I will say this: as much as I don't like either one of the teams, I like Ohio State's coach.
I do too.
I like Ohio
I
State's
can't say the
coach.
same about Michigan's.
Yeah, I didn't go that way. But
Have you ever been to Columbus, Ohio? Okay, just wondering. But just being there some.
I would love to go. I would love to go sit and watch a game in that stadium and watch a game in the big house at Michigan because of the tradition.
Yeah.
Just like when I went a couple of weeks ago to sit in Lambeau, it's just different.
Yeah, it's different.
I've sat in Knoxville. I've sat in a lot of. It's different. And if you enjoy football, you need to try to make some of these venues.
Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City is the coolest place I ever went to a game.
What got me about Lambeau is the NFL's talking about closing that facility and building another one.
That'd be a mistake.
With all the tradition that's there, you just don't have that anymore. Michigan, is it the horseshoe at Ohio State or is it
horseshoe?
But let's I want to nail you down on the prediction of this game, Kenny. Who's it gonna be? You say Ohio State.
I say Ohio State.
And you're saying Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Ohio State. I'm gonna go against the grain. I think Michigan's offensive line will carve their defense up. And I think they'll keep Ohio State's offense off the field enough to pull a close game.
If the game's close, I like the coach at Ohio State a lot better than I do Harbaugh.
All right.
So I'm going against the grain on that one. All right. Guys, that winds up our college football talk. But let's shift one more time and talk about the Titans. And I know Bill's got some information for us. What kind of information inside? You heard it here from Bill Anderson.
I think the kicker's out. This is my guess. Bullock's out. You're going to see the rookie kicker suited from Iowa.
Okay.
Big leg, 85% field goals in college percentage he made. And I don't think he ever missed an extra point.
But he's never kicked on a Sunday in an NFL game.
It's the first time for everything.
I agree.
Stonehouse is pretty good punting the football, too. He never punted.
And I know, I agree with what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Tennessee's going to have a new kicker. And don't think he will do a bad job.
Is anybody shocked that the Titans are 2.5-point underdogs at home to the Bengals? I'm shocked.
But here's the reason for that is Burrow is hot right now.
So's Tennessee's defense.
He is hot right now.
And we got Amani Hooker back, don't we?
We're going to have Ben Jones back. Center will be back. Bud Dupree's back. Elijah Molden, which is big. Yeah. He's going to be back, and Amani Hooker's back. I know. D'Amico Autry's out. Christian Fulton will be a key. He's questionable for the ball game. Hopefully he can play.
But, when we played them last year, we sacked them 9 times. But we had Jones and we had Landry.
Yeah.
We don't have the pass. We still got good pass rush.
Bengals still have issues with their offensive line protecting Joe Burrow, too.
And here's a guy that I like for the Titans that we don't say his name enough. He's sort of quiet. Is I like Weaver, number 99.
Out of Pittsburgh.
Yep. If he steps it, that's I like the Titans' chances. But the reason they're the underdog is because right now Burrow's the man, and he's right behind Mahomes.
Joe Mixon's out. So the running back for Cincinnati's out of the ballgame. He will not play. I don't think Jamar Chase is going to play. Now, if he does, I think it's limited. The guy hadn't played in 5 weeks. I don't think you put him out here and just let him go. They're playing for down the road, I would think. But the last 6 to 8 weeks, the Titans' defense has been as good as anybody in the National Football League.
Don't disagree with that.
The last 6 to 8 weeks have been as good as anybody.
Okay.
I saw them play personally in their last game, and they looked good.
Offensively, the difference is Treylon Burks. What difference does he make now that you can spread the field? That made a difference for everybody. All of a sudden, Robert Woods looked pretty good.
Well, he was Robert Woods impressed me blocking.
He made some nice catches.
Running play that he was in the game, he was downfield blocking.
And NWI all of a sudden is a 3 pretty good once you got him out there.
Yeah.
Well, and that just goes to show that in the NFL, you're not going to win with one person.
No.
You've got to have the others to make Derrick Henry better.
Revenge game for Ryan Tannehill too.
Yeah.
As bad as Ryan Tannehill was last year, revenge game for Ryan
they're
Tannehill.
not even thinking about that. That's what.
Oh, they're thinking about it. And don't think Mike Vrabel is not putting up here that I'm a 2.5-point underdog in my own stadium. Vrabel's using that.
Here's one thing I know, Vrabel, his guys are going to hit you in the mouth.
Yep.
And they're going to hit you in the mouth, and they're going to hit you in the mouth, and they're going to pick you up off the ground and pat you on the back so they can hit you in the mouth again. And that's football.
All right, here, prediction.
The Titans win, and it's going to be close because that's the way we play football. And I'm going to have heartburn in the fourth quarter. And it's going to be the same old, but we're going to win the ball game. Titans are going to win the game by 3.
Tighten up.
All right,
Tighten up.
3 by 3. Is that what you're saying?
I just for a win, but I think it'll be a little better. The only thing about the Titans is how they start and how they finish. They have not been very good in the second half of this year, period, in any game.
Green Bay game, they were better. Second half than they had been. Because
We scored by 7.
That's better than 0.
So they're gonna have to play complete.
Yeah. Dr. Garrett, what do you say?
Well, we're season ticket holders. I have to go with my Titans. Have you ever watched a game with Bill Anderson? It is. If you've not done that, you got to do that.
Dr. Garrett, when I coached at Central, that was our play-by-play announcer.
Really?
And did a heck of a good. I need to bring you some of our old films, because one thing Coach Thaxton did is after we had the game, he would go hook it up to his audio.
Sometimes it was actually plugged into the camera. That's why Coach Thaxton wanted it. So the audio was on there.
And we had to.
And we called a play one night that Jay worked on. We talked about this, and it was some sort of flip reverse where you were doing the wingback option, but we went to Traco Wellhoit back the other way and went 80 yards. And we scored. And we called it, and I'm calling the game, and I said something to Coach Blue, and he's like, "No, we're not doing that." Well, Thaxton hears it, right?
Yeah.
He calls the play. After the game, I thought Bill Lewis and Vance Blue were going to have a come on. They told me never to talk to Coach Thaxton again. Don't be giving him any play calls, even though it went for a score. But you remember how Jay was. He would sit there and draw it up in the dirt, wouldn't he, Kenny? He would draw up a play in the dirt and expect him to execute it and run it. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But those were good times, weren't they?
That's why we didn't let Jay wear earphones.
No.
Jay did not wear earphones. He never did have a headset.
Just keep him away.
Those were good times.
All right. Titans sack Burrow 5 times. We win by 6.
Titans are going to sack him 7 or 8 or 9 times. The
Oh.
Bengals' offensive line is not very good. And here's the other problem. Mr. Burrow, as great as he is, holds the ball too long. It's not just his line. He has a tendency to hold it too long, and that's why he gets sacked so much.
But you know what? That's what they're doing so good right now is they're getting rid of it. They're throwing it. He's releasing it under 2.5.
Now, he's still getting popped and sacked. And really, in this stretch of run, who have they beaten? The Bengals. They've not really beaten anybody here lately. I mean, they've not beaten anybody.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to watch.
I don't think the Bengals are as good this year as they were a year ago. Let me say that.
And here's another thing. The weather may come into effect. It may be raining. That's Tennessee advantage.
Football, Derrick Henry.
Tennessee advantage.
Yeah. All right.
It's going to hurt with Joe Mixon out. Joe Mixon's a good player.
On grass.
Joe Mixon's a good football player. That hurts them not having no running back. He's concussed.
All right, guys.
What we got coming up next week?
Next week, we got some high school basketball to talk about. We got state championship.
We'll get Coach
games,
Davis in here, Robbie Davis from community. He wants to come on with us.
We'll try to get a coach in here to talk and let them talk about their programs, what they've got going on.
Yeah, we definitely next week. I want to get Robbie in here.
Yeah, we'll talk to
Mr. Davis. Let's try to get while the season's young and we're all excited. Let's try to get them all in and talk that sport where the ball bounces correct every time.
It'd be nice to get every coach in here if we could.
Girls, boys. We'll try to do that. Again, we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Dr. Garrett for sitting down with us, and we'll have you back again because I think you keep these guys somewhat straight.
I'll give a shout out to Brian Cruz for listening.
Yeah, and also
is he at work today?
I don't know what he's doing, but David Adcock came on and said, "Go Noles." So we didn't talk about Florida getting beat. So
did Florida State beat Florida?
Yes, they did.
Florida played them tough the first time.
Hey, I watched a little bit of that game. That running back for Florida State, when they scored that was a man.
Yeah, he's tough.
Whoa.
The poor Richardson kid.
I know.
He was out the second half. What was he 0 for 12? He couldn't complete a forward pass.
And they're talking about him a top 20 draft pick.
No way.
No.
Yes.
Drafted.
Top 20
No.
first rounder.
I don't understand how they're talking. Mel Kiper's talking about the kid from Kentucky being
Levis, yeah.
like a top 10 pick. I don't see it.
Some of them's got him in the top 5.
Well, I heard top 3.
I don't see it.
I don't either.
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
We could sit here all day and talk if you hadn't noticed, Dr. Garrett, but we got to wrap this thing up. So we'll have a show for next week. But we're going to talk high school championships.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk high school basketball, and we're going to stay on the SEC talk because we'll see bowl games.
We'll have
starting to
championship
shake
games
off.
next week.
By the way, talking about basketball, did anybody happen to catch Coach Barnes beating Kansas, the number 3 team in the country, winning that tournament last night?
Yeah, pretty good too.
Without Josiah Jordan James, who's arguably their best player, wasn't even on the court. I was impressed with him last night.
All right, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks
David.
again.
Thanks for having me.
Glad you can make it, Dr. Garrett and Kenny. Bill, as always, thank you. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.